Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. It's good to see you. It was good to see some of you at dinner and good to see some of you. I'm looking around, almost all of you at dinner, actually. Good to have you, and thanks for making the move here. We said it's oh so tempting after dinner just to go home, right? Especially on a night like tonight. So thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for welcoming Shabbat in with us and celebrating and reminding ourselves that this day is different, right? That this day, that the holiness, the sanctity of this day is upon us. So we're glad that you're joining us from home. We're glad that you're joining us here. And let's also take a moment this evening to thank and honor all of those who served and who we are grateful to have some of you here in our midst today and some of your family members on this Veterans Day as we share this prayer from Alden Solovoy. God of compassion, God of dignity and strength, watch over our veterans in recognition of their loyal service to this nation. Bless them with wholeness and love, shelter them, heal their wounds, comfort their hearts, grant them peace. God of justice and truth, rock of our lives, bless our veterans, these men and women, all these people of courage and valor with a deep and abiding understanding of our profound gratitude. Protect them and their families from loneliness and want. Grant them lives of joy and bounty. May their dedication and honor be remembered as a blessing from generation to generation. Blessed are you, protector and redeemer, our shield and our stronghold. And let us join together in saying, Amen, amen, and thank you. Amen, and thank you. Come, let us continue as we turn to the kindling of the Shabbat lights on page 121, as we say, O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat. Page 123, as we continue with Kiddush, we'll invite you, please, in body or in spirit, to rise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinkaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat.
I am. And kindly be seated as we continue on page 127. And let's continue praying responsively. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Page 128, as we continue with the singing of Hine Matov Umanayim, how good and how pleasant it is for us all to sit, to dwell, to be together. Page 138, as we continue together, we'll turn to the words of Lecha Dodi. As many of you know, most of you know, it is our practice, our minhag, to sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And at verse 9, we get up either literally or figuratively or spiritually here or from wherever you are joining us. And we turn to a door of entry to actually bring our body to the practice of Shabbat and say, come on in. Come on in, Shabbat, we want you, we need you, and here we are ready. So at verse 9, we'll invite you, please, to rise in body or in spirit to welcome Shabbat, page 138.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabla. Shamor v'zachor v'diborecha, ishmi'anu al hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, v'shemo tiferet v'litchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala,
סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. קוראי לשלום עטרת מעלה, גם לשמחה ולצות עולה, טוב גדולי עם סבולה, בואי קלה, בואי קלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
And kindly be seated. We continue now on page 145 and then back to 144 for the Chatzi Kaddish. As we say, entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence.
Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, u'bizman karim. V'imeru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'alam ulal me'almaya. Yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yipa'ar, v'yivroman, v'yivnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitala, shemei dekudesha, b'rechu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, b'imeru, amen.
We continue now with our call to worship the Baruch Hu on page 146. And once again, we'll invite you, please, in body or in spirit, to rise. Together, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'divaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, u'vituna mishane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'mesader et hakochavim, b'mishmaroteim barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. U'ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, u'mavdil ben yom u'ven layla, Adonai Sevaot Shemo. El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Avat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
And please be seated as we continue with the Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Emet. We continue praying responsively in a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace. Give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Kamocha ba'elim Adonai, kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilo tosef eleh, nora tehilo tosef eleh. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
I'm laughing because of all the things that we Jews argue about, Ashkenazi, Sephardi, what tradition, this tradition, stand or sit, do it quickly, do it slowly, every tradition, clapping on 2 and 4 or 1 and 3, that's a biggie. That's the one that ultimately, I think, that's the one that has given our community the most trouble,
I decided to go easy on you today.
Yeah, that's it. Let it be a cacophony of sounds, right? We say, "V'ne'emar kifada Adonai et Yaakov, ga'alo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai, ga'al Yisrael." Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We'll continue now with the singing of Yismechu on page 162.
We don't get to do Hashkivenu?
We just did Hashkivenu, but yeah. We did the English of Hashkivenu.
Oh,
Yeah. Tricky, it's tricky. Oh, yeah, well, you could do, yes, I'm sorry, you could do
I have
Hashkivenu,
a
I'm
really
sorry.
nice Hashkivenu.
Yes, let's do Hashkivenu, my mistake. Hashkivenu, thank you for the questions on page 160.
Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomrei.
Page 162 as we continue with Yismechu.
Shabbat. Shabbat. Kulam yisperu v'yitanu b'tuvecha Shabbat. Yismeru v'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismeru v'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Uvashvi ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Emdat yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismeru v'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismeru v'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Zefer lemase bereshit Shabbat. Zefer lemase bereshit Shabbat. Yismeru v'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismeru v'malachutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat.
I will only add that as we turn to the words of the tefillah, our time for thanksgiving, our time for Hoda'ot, there is no one, there is no three, there is no two, and there is no four to have to master. No beat that you have to find except for your place, your depth of gratitude for this week gone by, to find those places where you are connected, where you were connected, where you are grateful that you were connected, and where moments were lifted up or you were able to lift up a moment. That is the only beat that you need to find as we turn to the words of the tefillah on page 164. And once again, we'll invite you, please, in body or spirit, to rise.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Gula Lifnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav le'Hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'mori hagashem. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua,
ונאמנתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. And please be seated. Page 173 as we continue together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ratzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael, u'tefilahatam be'ahava tekabel, u'tehila ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch Atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha be'yirah na'avod. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch Atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha L'chana Elehodot.
Shalom Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata hu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Ki ata Shalom, Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael.
Baruch Atah Adonai Hamivarech et Amo Yisrael Bashalom. We take a few moments now, each of us, in intentional silence, in prayer, in meditation.
Vihiu liratzon imrefi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri V'goali V'goali
We turn now to page 371 and hold in our prayers those who don't have a shelter like this above them, who aren't noticing the raindrops that are falling beside them, but perhaps who are actually exposed to the elements and who need our prayers, who are in need of strength and shelter and dignity and respect. We think of all those who are struggling, whether because their bodies are ailing them or their spirits are ailing them or their surroundings are troubling to them. And we hold all of them, those who are in the path of danger, those in Florida who are weathering still these storms on a regular basis and in a devastating way. We hold all of those together with those in our own hearts, for whom we say, Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Yivarech et Acholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal and strengthen those who are struggling. This Shabbat, we are holding in our prayers, Shana Esther Bat Rachel, Sarah Bat Abraham Sarah, Alan Skirker, Laura Braun, Stephen Brent, Rainey Feingold, Irving Manis, Gabriel Berger, Brian Mansfield, Michael Shartok, Miriam Nemetz, Casey Zachman, Barbara Petro, Valerie Brownstein, Liz Steinberg, Stephen Brieger, Carol Brieger, Claire Cowing, Linda Champion, Allison Rohr Sekeli, Sarah Postelnik, Stanley Niskoda, Dennis Linsner, Jamie Rosenzweig, Robin Trimble, Jean Harris, Shayna Pies, Leslie Whitney, Yosef Ben Miriam, Fran Schoenfeld, Ian Leonard, Margot Cohn, Raymond Condon, Jen Palma, Nancy Zawacki, Michael Gamilla, Ina Stanko, Lynn Scharfman, Yoel David Ben Mordechai, Donna Liederman, Michael Goldberg, and Menachem Reuben Ben Bluma. If there are others whom you would add to this list, or names that are better spoken aloud by you, please would you add that name or those names as I look your way. And from home? So let us say, may the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for wherever possible health to be restored and strength revived. May God send renewal of body and renewal of spirit as we join together in saying, Amen.
May the source of strength, who bless the
In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of a cow jumping over the moon. And in the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up and pop, out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy, and every day that boy would come. And this is George. He lived in Africa. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. I have always loved children's books for their unbridled exploration of the seemingly impossible, for the magical carpet rides, the umbrellas that can carry us to faraway places, the creativity and sense of wonder that they create, transporting us into altogether different worlds. Growing up, Curious George was always a family favorite, described best in an article written by Jeff McGregor, who wrote, "Practical, unflappable, loving, forgiving, patient, the man in the yellow hat is who we would all like to be, but Curious George is who we are. Well-meaning and disastrous, impulsive and forgetful, selfish and ingenious, and in constant need of forgiveness. Curious George may be the most human character in post-war literature. Now over 80 years old, hard to imagine, right? Over 80 years old, Curious George remains a remarkable set of stories enjoyed by children and adults the world over. Some, though not all of us, may know the harrowing story of how George and the man in the yellow hat and decades of enjoyment actually came to fruition. How many of you know the background story of it? Okay. So this is some of the extraordinary story behind the story shared in McGregor's article in the Smithsonian Magazine. He writes, on May 10th, 1940, Adolf Hitler sent 3 million troops through the Low Countries into France. Parisians fled by the hundreds of thousands before the Germans captured their city on June 14th. Among them, a young couple, German Jews, who had been living in Paris for just over 4 years. They had waited too long. There wasn't a car or a bicycle left in the city. The husband bought every spare part he could find and built 2 bikes from scratch. At 5:30 on the morning of June 12th, they rode out of Paris with a monkey hidden in their basket. Hans Reyersbach and his wife, Marguerite Waldenstein, were artists from Hamburg, but they had met in Rio de Janeiro, and Hans had moved there in 1925 after serving in World War I. He sketched and painted and sold plumbing fixtures up and down the Amazon, and Marguerite, a photographer, arrived a decade later. If Hans was dreamy and sweet, Marguerite was ambitious and unsentimental. They were perfect for each other. They were married in Rio in 1935 and honeymooned in Paris and never actually got around to leaving until they pedaled away with the manuscript and art for what would later become one of the most popular children's books of the 20th century. That first day, they rode 30 miles from south to Étampes. They could still hear while they were riding the German shelling. And then the next day, they made it to Accabuy, another 20 miles south, and slept a fitful night in the barn. And then to Orléans, exhausted, where they squeezed into a packed train, one of the very last. 11 days and almost 1,000 miles after leaving Paris, by bicycle, they rolled into Lisbon, where they waited months to cross the Atlantic to Brazil. And at last they were able to sail to New York City. In America, a friend named Grace Hogarth had just been hired as a children's book editor at Houghton Mifflin, and she saw the bravery in this book's optimism. It took courage to print and publish colorful books in a gray wartime world, she wrote, and she later recalled she signed them to a 4-book contract. And Fifi, their primate protagonist, was renamed George. So why am I telling you about Curious George, not what you expect on a Friday night? Because 2 days ago, Jews worldwide commemorated Kristallnacht, the Night of Broken Glass, which occurred on the eve of November 9th, 1938, marking the beginning of the Holocaust. And a mere 6 months before Hans and Marguerite made their escape from France. 6 months. Unfathomably, a mere 6 months was the time span between Kristallnacht and almost certain death for Hans and Marguerite and George and the man in the yellow hat. On Kristallnacht, violent anti-Jewish demonstrations broke out across Germany, Austria, and parts of Czechoslovakia. Jewish homes, Jewish homes, synagogues, and businesses were destroyed by the Nazis, and the streets throughout Germany and Nazi-occupied Europe were covered with glass from the shattered windows of signaling an end of safety, citizenship, and normalcy for Jews in each of those places and far beyond. The United States Holocaust Museum, in their account of Kristallnacht, states that Nazi officials depicted the riots as justified reactions to the assassination of German foreign official Ernst von Rath, who had been shot 2 days earlier by Herschel Grinspan, a 17-year-old Polish Jewish man distraught over the deportation of his family from Germany. Over the next 48 hours, that was all it took, violent mobs spurred by anti-Semitic exhortations from Nazi officials destroyed hundreds of synagogues, burning or desecrating Jewish religious artifacts all along the way. Acting on orders from the Gestapo headquarters, police officers and firefighters did nothing to prevent the destruction. All told, approximately 7,500 Jewish-owned businesses, homes, and schools were plundered, and 91 Jews murdered in that short time frame. An additional 30,000 Jewish men were arrested and sent to concentration camps, and Nazi officials immediately claimed that the Jews themselves were to blame for the riots, and a fine of 1 billion Reichsmarks, about $400 million at 1938 rates, was imposed on the German Jewish community, $400 million in 1938. The Nazis came to call the event Kristallnacht, Crystal Night, or the Night of Broken Glass, referring to the thousands of shattered windows that littered the streets afterwards. But the euphemism does not convey the full brutality of the event. Kristallnacht was a turning point in the history of the Third Reich, marking the shift from anti-Semitic rhetoric and legislation to the violent, aggressive, anti-Jewish measures that would culminate in the Holocaust. These 2 nights marked the shift from anti-Semitic rhetoric to violent and aggressive anti-Jewish measures. Words matter. But you already know that. Hate-filled words that are spoken or posted by our elected officials, by politicians, by Kanye West or Kyrie Irving on college campuses in every place matter. Left unchecked, they not only hurt and frighten and damage, they foment a dangerous and violent hatred. Just yesterday, the Anti-Defamation League hosted Never Is Now 2022, the world's largest summit on anti-Semitism and hate. Last year, this same summit brought together 11,000 participants from 60 countries and in all 50 states. Expecting that number, they're still tallying those numbers for yesterday, to be infinitely larger this year, ought to be a clarion call to each of us of the deep and urgent need to respond to this frightening uptick in anti-Semitism. We light a candle, attend a ceremony, and commemorate Kristallnacht, not to remain tethered to our horrific past, but to declare each and every year, each and every day, loudly and squarely, never again. So how do you and I do that here in Rochester? We join some of the evolving efforts here at Temple We join the Anti-Defamation League and with those allies locally and nationally who are committed to monitor and respond to anti-Semitic incidents, to speak out against anti-Semitic rhetoric, to educate about anti-Semitism, to advocate for policy solutions, and to remain vigilant because we must do more than just remember. Our community observance of Kristallnacht is not meant to be a one and done each November. It is meant to remind us that there are precious lives to remember, that there is still much work to be done, and that we must call out every hateful, hate-filled word and deed, and to take some of our cues from George, who traveled 1,000 miles in 11 days, reminding us of our people's strength, determination, and perseverance. H.A. and Marguerite Rey, Hans and Marguerite, were forced to flee. And in addition to their extraordinary story of escape, let us not only enjoy, but heed the lessons of their subsequent stories, not only to enjoy the series of silly close calls that we all loved reading or reading to our children, but how George needs help and seeks out people who will give it, and how very easy it is to get caught up in the gears of circumstance and of the dangers of conformity. And let us join together in saying, never again. Amen. Amen. We do this best by coming together in community and by standing together and being together. And when we stand in prayer, we say shoulder to shoulder, square to square at home, that we are together in this. So let us, as we turn to our concluding prayers, to the Aleinu, knowing that the work Aleinu is upon us, let us rise as we turn to page 586 and turn to the words of the Aleinu.
Erev Shabbat, a faithful celebration. Shalom, Samuel, Havatzot, Velo Samanu, Mishpachot Adama. Shalom, Samuel, Kahem, Velo Hameinu, Kekol Hamonai. Anami Ori, Unishami Ori, Nifne Mate Amaki, Akadosh Baruch. Bayom, Bayom. Yeah,
Page 598, as we continue. We pause now to think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. During this period of Shloshim, these last 30 days, we are holding in our prayers and in memory Robert Katz, brother of Rabbi Alan Katz, Ephraim C. Lewis, father of Ellen Lewis, Barbara Pam, mother of Susan Mercier, Yosef Naim, father of Sharon Shafrir, and Irving Rosenstein, father of Michael, Cheryl, and Amy, and our member. This marks a yard site an anniversary of passing for Ernest Brownell Jr., Zelda Druce, James Eichner, Rose A. Esterson, Arlene Foreman, Lou Fromm, Alice Geiger, Mary Gorey, Solomon Gold, Sadie Goldshine, Haskell Goldstein, Jacob Gould, Samuel Gross, Yuta Gurvik, Stanley Handelman, Ida Harf, Stina Hoffman, Mary Israel, Edith Kahn, Harry Kruskal, Diane Latta, Manuel Liederman, Evan Light, Hal Levy, Alan McPherson, Melvin Neisner, Dorothy Zaretsky, Ruth, Ethel Rosen, Solomon Saltiel, Michael Seidman, and Richard Wexler. If there are names that you would add to either list, or again, names that are better spoken aloud by you, please, as I look your way, would you share that name or those names with us? And from home? We say, Zichronam Livracha, may each of their memories be for a blessing, as we turn to the words of Kaddish Yatom together. V'yit Gadal, v'yit Kadash, Shmei Rabbah, Be'alma Divrach Yerutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'chayei Techol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olei omaya, V'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav, Huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all who mourn, to all Israel, as we join together in saying, Amen. Amen. And please be seated, please be seated. We share with you some announcements this evening, beginning with our thanks to Alex Reeder for being with us, not just once tonight, but twice, as he and I had the pleasure of having our Bim Bam Shabbat at 5:30. So there were lots of little people with lots of stuffed Torahs running around exactly where you were sitting tonight, and then joined us again for services tonight. We're grateful that Alex, always grateful that Alex can be with us. Join us tomorrow morning. Come by rowboat, come however you need to come. Join us for Torah study. It's fitting to me that we're in Exodus, and we are continuing at 9:15 tomorrow morning, and then services at 10:30. And Rebecca Dreyer will be co-officiating tomorrow morning with me, which will be lovely. We have school on Sunday morning, our second edition of Pirkei Avot, of adult education through a social justice lens. That's also at 9:30 in the youth lounge, where many of you just had dinner, and religious school continues throughout the day. Erev Shabbat services next Friday night at 6 p.m. And so we begin once again with our weekend routine. Please take note that our annual interfaith Thanksgiving service, a wonderful, wonderful start to Yontif, I guess is what we should say, right, to the holidays, each year. This year is taking place on the Monday prior to Thanksgiving. That is a significant departure for many of us. A welcome for many of us to have an opportunity to actually have a day with family, but it will be at 7 p.m. On Monday, God bless, Monday, November 21st this year at St. Monica Church at 34 Monica Street, and the service will also be live streamed. You can find that information on our website. So please join us and take notice. It's a wonderful, wonderful service together. And then, of course, our office will be closed on Thursday and Friday for all of our staff to enjoy some time off. We want to thank Diana Sorosky, who is sitting in the back. Give a wave. Give a wave. Diana was our board greeter tonight. We are very grateful. We want to wish a mazel tov to Neil and Sandra Frankel on the birth of their great granddaughter, Sophia Rachel Block. And also to call your attention to Hanukkah, because right after Thanksgiving, we know comes Hanukkah. That's how the rabbis wrote it. And we're looking for, Monica Katzel is looking for vendors and volunteers. If you're interested, please be in touch with her. And then for all those who are in need, you know best where you can contribute your resources, your time, your energy, your checks, your prayers, all that is needed. Please find places. Tremendous amount of food security and housing insecurity right now. Please find best where to contribute, and let us know if we have forgotten anything. Any other announcements that we should know about? Any joys, any oys, anything that we should know about? Okay, then we will continue with Motzi and give thanks for that which you already enjoyed. For some of us, this is our fourth time making Motzi tonight. Right? It's you can never have too much of a good thing. And some of us were blessed with an extra special challah tonight as well. We thank you, Bernice, for your challah tonight. And oh, it's in protective custody. I love that. It is in loving honor and memory that we are sustained by so much of his goodness and your goodness in sharing with us. So we remember Lou tonight as he touched so many of our lives, and are grateful that we could all be here tonight for any number of reasons as we share Motzi together. Amen, amen, amen. While Alex is slicing, we'll invite you please to turn to page 657 for our closing song, O Jevosh Shalom Aleinu, and let us bring peace. Let us bring safety and security and respect and love and dignity to all as we turn to the words of O Jevosh Shalom Aleinu.
Sorry.
And that is the beat that we hope you leave with. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Join us please in the social hall. Enjoy something sweet at home. And we hope the sweetness of Shabbat stays with you.